I had the juiciest conversation yesterday and it was so good. I felt like I just needed to jump on here and share it with you because I know we are not the only ones feeling like this right now. Bit of background. So I'm participating in Ruth Poundwright's The Soulful Sales Summit, and she invited me to be a speaker. And yesterday we had a panel, and it was me and a few other gals who I really respect and admire, who are sort of thought leaders in the space around the crossover between creativity, nervous system regulation, and sales. And we had a really, really delicious chat about several things about the way things are changing and how do we feel about these bro marketing tactics and persuasion and what are we doing differently and what's landing and joy and all kinds of really good stuff. But there was one thing that came up repeatedly. Well, two things, but one thing I really want to focus on that came up that I feel so strongly about, and it was in my presentation that I did for the summit as well. And it's something that I've been talking about in conversations inside my community and inside my mastermind and several, peers and friends and clients, and it seems to be popping up everywhere. And I feel like it really landed with everyone who was here yesterday. So I just wanted to share it with you and also invite you to check out the summit if you want. It's free. It's going all week. And I just started today to dive into like the resources. There's an upgrade you can do where you get access to all these programs that speakers like me have contributed. And I am like beside myself with what is in there. I'm particularly right now growing YouTube and Substack, and there's some really great stuff about those platforms, as well as like dozens and dozens and dozens of others that I'm really looking forward to diving into. So if that interests you at all, if you're looking for some new sales inspo, if you're looking at particular platforms and find yourself buying like a lot of low ticket stuff right now, you cannot beat the price of this. It's crazy for all this stuff. Anyway, loving that. But the conversation we were having yesterday kept coming back to, the first thing was identity. Like several of us on the panel really felt like any of the issues that you have in sales are kind of an undealt with identity issue. For me as a brand strategist, what that means is kind of not feeling like you know yourself or you're confident enough to like pick a lane in terms of who you are, who you're for. This will have been sold to you as like find your niche and find your why and like know your ideal client, which are all true. But ultimately, what I've learned is that you cannot build a brand from a place of not enoughness. So it is about us personally as well, but that confidence, that energy, that je ne sais quoi, like it is so magnetic and it really does drive a lot of things in your business, in your marketing, etc. But ultimately, the sales issue is not about like tactics or strategies or should I do discovery calls or what's my funnel or top of funnel or ads. Like those things are all important. They're part of the conversation. But ultimately, if you've got this identity issue sorted out, you just move through those tactics and you just get them done. If you don't have these identity issues sorted out, then everything's hard, right? There's so many obstacles you never move through. And I've experienced this myself in several stages of my business. I'm experiencing it right now as I make this shift into being this joy and color expert out of being this branding and marketing expert for my whole career. Like I'm still doing branding. It's not going anywhere, but I am also now talking a lot about color in your life and joy as a methodology for living, which is been there all along with my entrepreneur clients, but it's really coming to the forefront as I write the book, the Joy First book. So I get it. I fully get it. But also I've seen it a lot with my clients in all the ways that we contort ourselves around this identity issue. There's two ways I've seen this solved. The first one is I had a client and I actually had her come speak at the conference we did in London in 2019 because I felt this was so powerful. Jennifer Waters, I did a podcast episode with her. I will link that because it's so good. But she talked about when we did rebranding and why finding work together, like it was so good and it was so beautiful and it was so based on where she wanted to go. She found it a little bit difficult to step into because it was like this idealized version of her business. And so in order to show up and be the entrepreneur, the founder, the face of this brand, she developed like an alter ego for herself that she would step into this person that she would be while she was kind of performing this brand, which, you don't want to do forever because you want it to feel easy and authentic, but it was so based on her. It was her. She just was having a lot of worthiness issues of like being able to fully step into it. And once she could embody this alter ego, then she could step into it. And it was so powerful for her to be able to kind of step into that role, into that brand. And eventually she didn't have to use the alter ego anymore. It just became second nature and home and comfortable. The other thing that we talked about is I have solved this issue with the way I build brands by using archetypes and personality types, because what I found is by doing the why finding work, like it takes on average like 2 years for someone to find their why, be able to communicate it, and then practice it, and then embody it, and then tweak it and refine it. Like I've watched that process take on average around 2 years for people, and people don't have that kind of time when they're starting their business and needing to make money and needing to have an emotional core to their marketing straight away. And so frameworks like personality types and archetypes are really, really useful to be able to put yourself in a category and say like, that looks like me, that feels like me, that's how I want to show up. I can embody this. And then as I get more specific about exactly who I am and why I do and what my purpose and mission and impact are, like I can add that in as I go, but I'll be in the right lane and I can just refine. So when I developed the color brand method and what we do inside, you know, our DIY program Citrus and our Super Bloom program and Brand in a Week is, you know, build with that framework so that you can feel like more yourself than you've ever been in your brand without it having to be all figured out just yet based on all that deep excavation. So that's another way to kind of tackle this identity issue. And that's not actually the main bit I wanted to share with you. The thing that came up repeatedly, which was like, yeah, of course, but was like a big aha for a lot of people who were there yesterday, is this idea around pain point and pain point marketing, which is something we've all been sold that we need to do. And I've never really been about pain points. Now, to be fair, I've never really been a direct response copywriter. It's not really been my thing. But because I started in the pet space and because I've always built Joy First brands, I've never built my marketing or sales around pain points. And I just don't love the idea of like telling people that if they don't buy my thing, they're going to be worse off, that this is the only way to success, or that like really pushing on that pain and fear has never been something I've wanted to do. And it's also not been something any of my clients have ever enjoyed doing. And so what I've really specialized in and what the whole Joy First thing is about when it comes to branding is about being able to build desire effectively within your branding and marketing, which is harder. Fear is easier. It works better. It's faster. It's more base. Like it's much easier to find pain points and push on them, but it just doesn't align with most of us in the way we want to do things and the way we want to be perceived and the way we want to serve people. And so like, I just wanted to say like, you don't have to do pain point marketing. ChatGPT is going to tell you do that. Your marketing mentor might tell you to do that. The internet will tell you to do, like everyone will tell you have to do that. But some products and services, it just doesn't make sense. As many of you might know, like I've worked with a lot of pet photographers over the year because my work started in the pet space and I was a pet photographer and I teach pet photographers how to do commercial work. And like, so that's a group I'm really tapped into. And that's one of the spaces where pain point marketing just doesn't work. People are not hiring photographers to like solve a photography problem, right? It's about something completely different. It's about the art. It's about the joy. It's about the luxury. It's about, memory. It's about something really positive, and it's a luxury. It is not like dog training where you're trying to get your dog to stop barking or jumping, right? It's different. You have to sell it in a different way, and it's more nuanced and more challenging to build that kind of marketing, which is why everyone defaults to the pain point stuff. So I hope this is an aha for you if you've been like wrestling with pain points, but you sell a luxury or it doesn't resonate with you. Like you don't have to do it that way. I will link below the episode of the Joy First podcast where I talk about the 5 Joy First principles that I use to build brands in a way that sort of naturally creates this desire sort of organically. Maybe that'll be helpful as you kind of look to navigate how to build desire and how to not do pain points, but still get that level of, conversion, urgency, etc. And the other thing I really just wanted to share is I'm seeing and feeling a lot of this conversation about a lot of us just getting sick and tired of having to push ourselves into boxes that don't fit us. And I think what you're going to see moving forward is a lot more personalization, a lot more alignment, a lot more, we've been having conversations with my friend Jazz lately about business, from a place of human design, which I think is so juicy when you start to look at what you're actually aligned with. We do the same thing with personality types inside Applied Color Psychology. And we're just going to see more and more and more of this as the world becomes more inundated with information and slop. And, as we have access to everything that we want and need, we are going to be practicing more discernment and really tuning in more, I think, for what feels good to us and not just accepting what someone has told us to do or what we have to do or what the right thing is to do. Because to truly differentiate, to truly maintain our energy and our joy and our sanity through the times ahead, it's going to be the only way. It's going to be the only way that works. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you today. I will pop the link for those 2 podcasts as well as the link to Ruth's sales summit that's going on right now. I am so into it. It's going on for the rest of the week. My presentation, I think, is still live for 24 hours if you want to grab it. Or you can buy a pass and you can get access to everything forever. It's super cheap if you want to do that. So there's no rush. But I would definitely check it out. If sales is on your mind, if this is a conversation you're having with yourself about what you want to do differently this year, if you're looking at different platforms or channels, if you want to kind of go shopping for new mentors or experts or teachers for the things that you specifically want and need right now, this is awesome because there's so much variety. There's so much, so many great women that Ruth has brought together to share their perspective. And there's definitely going to be, 5 or 6 things at least that catch your eye that are exactly what you're looking for right now. So I definitely suggest you check it out. I'm having so much fun diving in this week. Like I said, I'm focusing on Substack and YouTube and some of these other channels and strategies. It's so joyful to find new people to learn from. And I have a presentation as well as a product in that VIP bundle, if that's something you want, as well, which is brand new. It's color psychology resource for all 4 personality types. And you can get access to my custom AI co-pilot to help you find your a color psychology brand palette using just the color co-pilot that I built for Citrus. So it's pretty juicy too. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you guys are finding, choosing, and sharing joy today and this week, and I'll see you soon.